y'all, Dixie here. Today I want to talk to you about what it's been like hiking with this and what I plan to go through while hiking with this. Since being pregnant, I've gotten different messages and comments indicating that my hiking days are done, even though I've continued to hike and backpack while pregnant, and I've even talked about upcoming plans for hiking and backpacking after I have my baby. So I just wanted to reiterate, my hiking days are not done. I do plan to continue this channel, and I just wanted to go into how I aim to do that. First off, during my pregnancy, I have really focused on staying active, even though I've been nauseated like the entire time, given it hasn't been as bad in the third trimester as it was in the first and even most of the second trimester. I work out 3 to 4 days a week, most weeks. Up until about month 7 or so, I was still lifting weights. And then after that point, I decided to focus more on things like yoga and specific prenatal workouts that I've been getting through the Built to Birth YouTube channel. She has a program she put out that I purchased, and I have loved it. While pregnant, I've been on multiple hiking and backpacking trips. I went to the Florida Everglades and explored around down there. I did the Eagle Rock Loop in Arkansas during the total eclipse, and if y'all have not seen that video, you gotta check it out. That was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen in my life. And I thru-hiked the West Highland Way in Scotland just back in June.
She's pregnant. Makes her fat and slow.
I would say hiking and backpacking pregnant has been pretty similar to doing it before, except to begin with, and well, really all throughout my pregnancy, it's just the intensity has changed a little bit. The food aversions were kind of difficult at the beginning. Not everybody experiences food aversions, so you may not have that, just the typical morning sickness, and then you may have intense cravings. So I would say if you're somebody who's got cravings, then pack what you're craving, if at all possible. In general, I would say aim to go a bit slower while hiking and backpacking, and that certainly becomes true as your belly gets bigger and your organs get pushed aside, and there is more pressure on your lungs, not allowing them to expand as much. I've noticed that as my pregnancy has progressed, my heart rate is higher, because it's trying to pump blood to the baby, and I've got more blood running through me. So, of course, again, these things can change with intensity as the pregnancy goes longer and longer. In future pregnancies, I would definitely plan to bring some kind of belly band support with me as my abdomen gets larger, because I experienced some pretty intense round ligament pain while I was on the West Highland Way, and I think having some support would have definitely helped with that, but thankfully I only had it really like 1 to 2 days. Also, having some sort of small pillow, like a travel pillow that you would get on an airplane or something like that, to tuck under the side of your belly as it starts getting larger would make things more comfortable while sleeping on the ground, maybe even in a hammock. But I would say that for a shelter that will likely be most comfortable while pregnant, it's probably going to be hammocking. And finally, lightening your load as far as what you've got in your pack weight, to kind of offset the additional weight that now you're carrying on your body that you probably weren't used to before, is going to be helpful. Now, that's not to say that you have to replace all of your backpacking gear and come up with a new pregnancy setup or anything like that. But just wherever you're able to shave some weight, maybe, leaving another luxury item at home that is not a necessity for the sake of being more comfortable while you're actually walking during the day. Or if you do have some of those other things like the belly band or the little pillow, that can help offset that. And maybe even focusing on going places backpacking where you don't have to carry so much water weight, or on shorter trips so that you don't have so much food weight. All of those things could be considered. At this point in my pregnancy, I am 2 weeks and a couple of days from my due date. So I'm going to hang out close to home now, maybe just doing some day hikes and things like that, because whenever I go into labor, I definitely would like to be near my hospital with the OB that I'm used to. While I like doing a lot of things in the backwoods, having my first child out there is not on that to-do list. I am in the market for baby carriers, as far as like carrying on you, so that when I am cleared to do so postpartum, which I assume will be about 6 weeks, I can start at least going on day hikes with the baby. So if y'all have any suggestions, I am all ears as far as carriers that have worked well for you. But next year, if everything goes as planned, I am aiming to finally thru-hike the Arizona Trail in the spring. So the tentative plan for how to make this work is my mom, thankfully, just retired from the school system. She was a parapro for special needs kids. So she is going to go with me and the baby in a smaller type RV, in the market for that currently, out to Arizona, and then I will meet them every so many days for a resupply. I'm just very grateful that I'm not in a situation where I have to choose, do I want to thru-hike and not see my baby for 2 months, or do I just want to quit thru-hiking? I have a very supportive husband and mother, and I just so grateful that I don't have to make that choice. I am planning to exclusively nurse for the first basically 5 months or so, or however long, until a few weeks or so before we leave to go to the Arizona Trail. At that point, I do think it's important that I start introducing the baby to being bottle fed, so that, of course, my mom can take over and do that while I'm out on the trail. So I will need to pump, though, to get a frozen storage going, and then I guess have some type of freezer on the RV so that that breast milk can be stored. I have a manual pump called the Haka that seems to be like pretty lightweight, and I think it would work for me to pump and dump out on trail just to keep the supply flowing. But anyway, that is the current rough plan. I know that I'm going to be new to a lot of things all at once, being a mom to a baby that I gave birth to, breastfeeding, RV life, all of those things. But it's going to be a heck of an adventure, one that I'm really looking forward to. But if y'all have any tips, because you've already done this stuff and you're more experienced than I am, which is like more than 0 experience, then I would love to hear your suggestions in the comments. Also, later next year, Rodney and I are planning to go on a backpacking trip. We could always have my mom come with us to, be there in the RV with the baby, but I would really like to take the baby with us at some point. This will be in the summer, so the baby would be a little bit older, but I don't know if maybe Rodney would carry all of the gear and I'd carry the baby, or if he'd carry some gear and I'd have more of it and he'd have the baby. We haven't worked out all the details exactly. But I just think it would be cool to, in the first year of life, go ahead and get the baby out there on a backpacking trip, because it's something that I love and, I would like to do as a family. That's still very much in the early planning stages, but I will keep y'all posted as those plans develop. But back to the being pregnant thing, I'm so grateful that I have thankfully had a pretty healthy pregnancy that's allowed me to get out and stay active, and I'm hoping that that will help during labor. Other than being nauseated, like I said, the whole time, and the scary bleed that I mentioned that I had in 5 weeks, things have really not been bad. Like, I can't complain, especially being what they consider at 38, having a geriatric pregnancy. Nothing makes you feel older than seeing geriatric pregnancy on your doctor notes. I guess the biggest disappointment during pregnancy for me is the gender of the baby ended up getting spoiled for us by the ultrasound tech at the anatomy scan. What happened was we had told the tech that we wanted it to be a surprise, and so when she was inspecting genitalia, she turned the screen away. But after she got done, right after. She flipped it back around and she was trying to see the baby's face. And she goes, "Come on, buddy, uncover your face so I can look at it." And obviously, buddy sounds more masculine than feminine. So I'm like, man, it's probably a boy. And I think she's ruined it for us. And, you know, some people were trying to play it off like, oh, maybe she didn't mean anything by that. But I knew good and well that when the baby was born, if it came out a boy, I was going to be like, I knew it got ruined at that ultrasound. So I know she's human. We make mistakes. So I have let it go to the best of my ability. But I think next time I do want it to be a surprise, and I'm going to say, like, let's just not talk at all. No talking until the end when it's like, yes, everything's okay, or hey, there's something to be concerned about. We decided several weeks later when we did the 4D scan that because we had our families with us at this little boutique, that we would all just find out together. That way I could go on and accept it and not have that moment of joy taken from me when they, you know, announced it at birth. So anyway, we all decided to find out together, and sure enough, I was right. When I saw that anatomy flash up on the screen, I hollered out, you know, "It's a boy!" So his name is Bratcher Winfield Hawkins, and the Bratcher is a family name from my side, Winfield from Rodney's side. So I really love it, and I am just like tapping my toe, waiting for him to come on into this world.
Not the way we envisioned it, but Mama's getting to hold the baby for the first time.
I'm so sorry.
I like seeing my boy with no wires and tubes.
That is all the update I have for you now, and I just wanted to express again that my hiking days are not over. I still have the goal of being the oldest person to thru-hike the Appalachian Trail one day, so to do that, I gotta keep on the move. Thank y'all so much for watching. If you have any questions in general, please feel free to leave those in the comments, and we will see y'all next time.